and that is the new Sister to Sister. And let me say that again. Welcome everyone to Women's Prosperity Network's brand new series, Sister to Sister. And this is Trish Carr, and it is my honor and pleasure to be here today, and we'll be coming here every week to bring you real stories, real experiences of people of color, so that those of us who have a white face can actually hear and relate to the things that people of color experience that we just don't. And my goal here is to shine a light on what white privilege really looks like by hearing from real people. Because when you hear real stories, there's no way you can deny them. And I'm honored to have with me today my first guest, and she is the fabulous Leslie Warren. Leslie Warren is in Tallahassee, Florida. She and I have been friends for a long time now, and I'm honored to call her my friend. She is an incredible woman. She's a personal trainer with a mission in life to get people off the couch so that they live in their bodies and their bodies do everything they want them to do. So I asked Leslie to be here as my first guest, and she's going to share a personal experience that she went through so that we can all see what we don't see. So Leslie, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So the story that I want to share is something that you can relate to if you love a young person. If you're a mother, that would be your child. If you don't have children, maybe it's, your niece or nephew. I'll just cut to the chase. My son has started recently jogging. Now my son is an adorable 25-year-old teddy bear, biggest dimples you can drown in. He's just adorable. But about a month ago, he called me to let me know that he was going to go jogging. And it hit me because recently there's been a lot of light shined upon the fact that young Black men are being killed by doing something as simple as going for a jog in their neighborhood. And it was like a knife to my gut, thinking, here's my son just minding his own business, going jogging, and someone could just go up to him and murder him just because he's Black. Just because he's Black, just because they don't like the color of his skin. If he's jogging somewhere where he doesn't belong, he may not come home. I have to now call my son and ask him, son, please let me know when you're jogging. Let me know when you leave, and let me know when you finish. Because if more than 30 minutes goes by and it's a 15-minute run, I need to find out where you are, just in case you may be lying on the ground bleeding to death because someone didn't like you and someone wanted to lynch you. And let's be really crystal clear about this, folks. All right? This is a hate crime. This is a type of lynching. In 2020, I live in the South, and southern trees still bear strange fruit. If you're not familiar with that, that's a song written by Billie Holiday about the lynching of Black men and the images of their charred bodies hanging from trees. So I'm sorry if this is painful for you to hear, but it is painful as it is for you to hear. It is 100 times more painful for me to have to conceive the thought in my mind and realize that this is very relevant to my child, my son, my nephew, my dad, my brother, my cousins.
Wow, Leslie,
This is my everyday.
I'm blown away. So I'm blown away because, that the reality that you live with, while when I saw on the news the young man, and I'm sorry I can't bring his name to my mind right now, in Georgia.
His name is Ahmad.
Ahmad, thank you. So when Ahmad was in Georgia, and all he did was go into a house that was under renovation. Who among us has not gone into a house that's empty, that's being renovated? I do. It's the same reason we go to open houses on our own block. We want to see what people are doing in their houses, and it's interesting. And he came out of that house and he was murdered with a shotgun, a shotgun. So of course, when I saw that on the news, it moved me, but not like what you just said, because I feel to my bones now, and I certainly I can only imagine what it's like for you as a mother to have to consider that every time your son not just jogs, but goes out. You know, you hear stories of the broken taillights, right? So thank you for sharing
Getting stopped
that.
by the police, anything I have to worry and think constantly about living while black.
Yeah.
Living while black.
Yeah.
Walking while black. Shopping while black.
Yeah.
Anything while black.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate you sharing that. And I can see how emotional it is for you. I can't imagine what you're feeling inside every day when you're dealing with this. So those of you
that, honestly, this is nothing new.
No, I know. And I know you've been dealing with it for 25 years, for as long as you've had, for longer, for as long as you've had children, for even before that, you had family members. So
I've been dealing with this my whole life. And as a people, we've been dealing with this for about 400 years.
yeah, I really appreciate you sharing your truth, because you sharing your truth helps those of us who are on the outside and who are just looking at the news or looking and hearing. It gives us another level of intimacy and another level of understanding. So I appreciate you very much. And I know, Leslie, that this issue is something that you've been educated on. You took in school, this is a subject that you looked at. So while we have a minute, can you share a little bit about perhaps, what your thoughts are based on your education and based on your experience about this bias? Where does it come from? Why is it that as often as I've been told by people of color what goes on, I still am oblivious? I really am. Sometimes I'm oblivious that I don't even see it. What do you share a little bit about that?
It is systematic. It's systemic. So from the skin that you live in, everything is defined by you, by whiteness. So you are an American. I'm an African American. Any other person who is not of European descent is a hyphenated American. But the fact of the matter is the real Americans are the Native Americans. And Europeans, people of European descent, you're not American, you're European American. But it's systematic. You are the default of everything. You are the default. And then everything else is a subcategory. Now that's an example of racial identification. Let's see another example of this. Okay, there was a great skit that was done by Wayne Brady. It's gone viral. In a lineup of three gentlemen, they're asked to point out the criminal. And it's humor, so everyone's laughing because everyone is thinking that it's Wayne Brady.
Right.
Why is that? Why, as a culture, do we default to the criminal being black? And again, it's done in humor, but it's a very good skit, and it's a skit that I would recommend to the viewers to look up.
Yeah.
In terms of resources that you could avail yourselves to, because again, this is something that's systemic and it's taught from the time you get in kindergarten through every level of education. If it's white, you're the default. You define everything. So some resources. There's a movie that was made by Ava DuVernay called
Oh my gosh, the best
The
movie
13th
ever.
Amendment. You need to watch that, folks.
Yeah, it's on
All right.
Netflix. It's on Netflix right now. It was brought back. I
Yeah.
think it was done in 2016.
Yes,
and
it was done in
just
2016.
brought back, and it's called 13th.
So you need to watch that.
Yeah, watch it.
Yeah, watch it because our history has been whitewashed.
Yeah.
Whitewashed.
Yeah. Really.
Think about those words.
That was a really eye-opener for me, especially how it showed how for the last 150 years, let's say, how we portray people of color in the media. It's no wonder. The crack cocaine crisis, the way that laws were changed. I mean, it's really an eye-opener. So I agree. 13th is a wonderful, a great documentary.
It's a great documentary.
You will never see the world the same after you watch it. It's only an hour and a half. It's worth every minute of those 90 minutes. So instead of playing on Facebook tonight, go to Netflix and watch 13th.
It's eye-opening.
Awesome.
It's very, very eye-opening.
Awesome.
Because, again, this is something that what the system created.
Right, and because we don't see it, you know, I remember back when I first became aware of Black History Month, and people were going, well, why do we need a Black History Month? And even back then I was like, because every month is White History Month. Don't you get it? It's a default, right? So I really appreciate you bringing up that resource. Let me leave with one question, and that is, if there was one thing, one way to educate ourselves, one thing to help me to be able to see what I don't see right now, what suggestion would you have? I know there's so many.
There are so many.
How can I open up my own awareness? Like, what should I look for?
Something to look for. I would suggest looking around and trying to figure out why is it okay when it's white and not when it's black, okay? For example, tan, good. Black, not.
Right.
Let's see here. Getting like a butt injections so that your figure is more curvaceous, like that peach booty, that's good. But when it's on a black woman,
not good.
So much.
Gotcha.
Eminem as a rapper, yay. Black rappers, no.
That's a really good one. That's a really good one.
Why is it, you know, what's her name? Iggy Azalea, yay.
Right.
Black rappers, black female rappers, not so much. Because American history and American culture is full of examples of cultural appropriation all day long. Like, all day long. So it is something, when you see white folks doing it, it's okay. And when you see someone of color doing it, it's less. Why is that?
You know, it's so interesting you bring that up, because here's one. Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle. So Kate Middleton was the princess everybody loved. Meghan Markle, every time she does something that Kate Middleton does, it's wrong. So for example, when Meghan Markle was putting her hand on her baby belly, the press would say, why can't she keep her hands off her baby belly? What's wrong with her? Get her hands off there. Meanwhile, the same press, when Kate Middleton did it, how cute is that she's cuddling the baby? Like, literally, you do not see that that is not right. So
just stop yourself and think. If you see, why What are you thinking when you see the black version of this?
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
And why are you thinking of that? Because
Awesome.
you're not aware of it, but it's something that you've been indoctrinated to.
Awesome. Leslie Warren, I really appreciate you being with me today. Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for helping me to see at a much deeper level the angst, the despair, the fear that you as a mother of a Black man feels every time your son walks out the house, much less jogging, right? So thank you, Leslie. I really appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me here.
My pleasure. Thank you all for being with us today, and I look forward to seeing you again next week with another real experience of real women of color, so that we who are outside can start to see what we don't see. Thank you so much. Have
You're
a good
welcome.
day. All right, that was awesome. Wow, that was great.
Yay.
Wow, that was great. It was really great. You got me like verklempt, you know?
I love that word.
Oh my God.
Verklempt.
It was great. Thank you so much for that. So
You're
it'll be
welcome,
on Facebook Live. I'm also going to share it to my podcast and a lot of other things too.
All right.
Appreciate you, girl.
You're welcome.
Thank
My
you
pleasure.
so much. Bye-bye.
See you, sweetheart. Bye.
Bye.